Hey guys, hopefully this works. Hopefully this works and I don't have to keep fixing this because it... Okay, it definitely looks like it's better. I hope it stays that way. I'm not gonna fix anything. Bang, and so welcome. It is Wednesday, it is Saturday. You guys know what that means. You guys know what that means, obviously. Wrestling Week in Review. If I'm not mistaken, 83 maybe. I'm not entirely sure what the number of this one is. Hey Austin, I will go back after this live stream. I will go back and see what number my last one was, and whichever number it is, I will. And if this one isn't number 83, I will definitely change the number accordingly. But hey, itching right here. Obviously, I got this mustache right here, and for some reason, it's itching me like crazy. Maybe I should just shave this part all the way off because it's not seem because I just can't seem to stop wanting to scratch this area with my finger or whatnot. Ugh. It's been a long time since I've had one of these. Frosty Classic Lemonade. It is the best lemonade you will ever have, guaranteed. It's lemonade, but it's like a lemonade slash Sprite slash ginger ale esque combination. So yeah, I love it so much. I love it so much. But yeah, getting on to the show. Let's start with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, this was the final show in the Road to WrestleMania European tour. So this was from London, O2 Arena. So this was the last time we would probably hear rabid fans in attendance. The only other time, but then also but then last night on SmackDown, we were then reminded that Chicago will always be a rabid wrestling crowd, especially when CM Punk enters the building. So obviously Monday Night Raw, as it's been custom the last two times, started out again with John Cena and Cody Rhodes opening the show. This time, though, John Cena didn't even get a chance to talk because Cody Rhodes was probably, by this point, was like, you know what? I'm not even letting this guy talk anymore. He's talked too much. He's talked too many times already with me not out there. So I'm just going to interrupt him now so that he doesn't get a chance to talk. They went back and forth on the mic. This was great. This was needed. Now I know a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, were very critical of WWE's booking of the two previous promo segments between Cody and Cena, where fans were just livid that John Cena didn't get a chance to roast Cody after he would say what he said about John Cena, and that WWE is protecting Cody because they know that once Cody Rhodes goes one-on-one with John Cena on the mic, he'll get killed. Well, I hate to break it to you, but following Monday Night Raw, not only was Cody Rhodes not killed on the mic, he survived this past Monday night on the mic. It was at 3. But hey, it is what it is. Cody Rhodes survived. And he is just fine. In fact, I think he might have gotten the better of John Cena in that promo exchange, even though they both traded vicious barbs. I can't remember everything that was said. But obviously, the end of the The end of this segment saw Cody Rhodes get a crossroads in on John Cena after John Cena attempted a cheap shot, obviously blocked by Cody. So, hey, it is what it is. Great opening segment. Great opening segment. And it is definitely, this was definitely the best out of the three promo segments we've already gotten, of the three promo segments we've gotten with them. And, but then also this is, but while it was great, the one thing they didn't touch on, I mean, they mentioned his name, but they didn't touch on it at all, which was the reason. The reason for all of this, the reason for John Cena selling his soul to The Rock. Like, why did he do it? Why did he do it? We still don't know. And let's be honest, going into WrestleMania, we might never know. They'll probably have us go into WrestleMania without ever knowing why this ever happened. Why did John Cena sell his soul to The Rock? We'll never know. More than likely, we'll never know because The Rock hasn't shown up once. This promo segment with John Cena and Cody Rhodes on Monday night was the first time in which they even mentioned The Rock's name. Even just mentioning The Rock. Did they mention the reason why he sold his soul to The Rock? No, but they mentioned his name. But that's not enough. You can't just mention the guy's name and then just not even, and then just forget and just be like, oh wait, I sold my soul to The Rock. Why did I do that? Well, I'm sorry, but you guys don't get to know. It's almost as if WWE doesn't even care about the reason why. It was like, oh, John's heel. The crowd will boo him. That's enough. He'll dig into the fans and that'll be enough. Well, it's not enough. Okay, we have to know. We have to know why he sold his soul to The Rock. And the sad part is we may never get to know the reason why. Because The Rock is never gonna show up. since Backlash. I mean, I don't know. It was a great segment, but I just wish they would have, by now, they would have let us know why John Cena sold his soul to The Rock, because I don't know and I want to know. We need to know, and it's probably never going to happen. Other than that, great opening segment. Then we get the New Day. They are wanting a tag team title opportunity, which I'm surprised it's taken them this long to get to the tag title scene, because I feel like this heel turn was definitely needed, because there's only so much a babyface tag team can do before they start to get stale. I mean, same thing, you could say the same thing about DIY. There was only so much they were going to be able to do as babyfaces, as underdog babyfaces, until they became this bland. So they decided to turn heel. The New Day turned heel, and it was great. It was a great segment when it happened. And so, but they haven't done much of anything since the heel turn. Yes, the Monday Night Raw following the New Day heel turn, they got nuclear heat. It was like Dominic Mysterio turning on his father level heat. I mean, when Dominic Mysterio turned on his father, Rey Mysterio, he instantly became public enemy #1 in the eyes of the WWE fans. He got booed so loud every single time he came out, and he still does. He still does, because the fans will never forgive. They don't forget. They will never forget what happened, and they will never forgive. And so, as long as Dominic is a heel, they will always continue to boo him heavily because of that night at Clash at the Castle when Dominic turned on his Hall of Fame father, Rey Mysterio. But yeah, New Day still get that type of heat. It's just that they haven't done anything. At least nothing that's like anything to be like remembered for. they've been feuding with the LWO. I mean, some good matches, but it's like, do something important, please. Like, go after the tag titles, and they finally are, which I'm surprised they took them this long to finally want to through the tag titles. General Manager Adam Pearce came out to interrupt and said, you can't just demand a title shot and expect me to just give you one. You got to earn it. And so he decided to let the New Day earn a shot at titles by facing one of England's best tag teams. I didn't know what they were doing, whether they were going to bring out Pretty Deadly or whatever, but then he ultimately decided New Catch Republic. And so I was like, oh, wait, does that mean Tyler Bates back? And sure enough, he was back. I have seen him on Instagram. I've seen him on Instagram a lot. Well, not a lot, but I've seen him enough. And he obviously cut his hair. He cut his hair. Now for a while, he even had his whole beard and mustache shaved off, and he had just a clean shaved face with a haircut. Obviously, he grew his beard and mustache back a little bit, but you know what? I kind of like the no hair. I kind of like the short hair. I kind of like the short hair better than the long hair that he had. So hey, it's great that he's back. He's definitely someone that's needed. Now, this match between the New Day and New Catch Republic lasted just over 12 minutes. It was a good match. This match lasted just over 12 minutes, 30 seconds, about, give or take. And it was a great match. Great back and forth match, but the New Day were able to win via heel tactics. Obviously, as they were, if the New Day won, I knew it was only going to be via shenanigans or whatnot, and that's exactly what happened. But hey, it is what it is. New Day win. Good for them. Hopefully, they do go after the tag team titles, because they are desperately. Because the tag team titles around the waist of the New Day could actually be something good might actually be good for the Raw tag team division. Because the War Raiders, although they are a great team, they have not been on television nearly as much since they won the titles. And I thought they would have. I thought they would have been more consistently on television because, well, to be honest, they're not even on television as much as the Judgment Day were when they were holding the titles. And both teams have barely defended the titles, except maybe 4 or 5 things. I mean, the War Raiders have defended their titles at least 4 or 5 times, which is at least 3 more times than the Judgment Day did. But hey, but yet the War Raiders don't seem to be on television not nearly as much as when the Judgment Day were holding the titles, and they barely defended the titles anyways. So like, okay, the War Raiders have defended their titles more times than the previous team that held them, but then they also haven't been. But then the opposite is that they haven't been on television nearly as much. Like, I don't know if they didn't have a plan for the War Raiders when they won the titles, or whether they just wanted the War Raiders to win the titles off the Judgment Day because they just weren't doing anything with the titles. But this was good. We also got Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso backstage. Jimmy was getting ready for his match against Gunther. So, his match against Gunther. That, as I was going into this match, I was hoping for two things to happen. One, I was hoping that this match would be short. that this match would be short, that it would be a massacre. And number two, I wanted post-match, I wanted a beatdown. Gunther just beating the living hell out of Jimmy with Jay being forced to watch. That's what I wanted to happen because I've now said this now like maybe 2 or 3 times already. I think what has been missing from this storyline between Jay and Gunther has been the emotional investment. Yes, Jey Uso is very popular. Yes, we love Jey Uso. But other than that, why does he deserve this match? I mean, we need to be emotionally invested in Jey Uso wanting to beat Gunther. We need to want Jay to beat Gunther. And so after this little talk, back-to-back talk with Jay and with his brother Jay, Jimmy basically told Jay, look, I'm going to fight Gunther, so I think I want you to just stay back here and just watch the match. Just let me handle him. I'll beat him, okay? I'll show that he can be beat. After this, we got a Ludwig Kaiser. We got Ludwig Kaiser being interviewed. Standard stuff. Then we go and we get Jimmy Uso versus Gunther. So what I wanted, the first thing that I said that I wanted was I wanted this match to be short and I wanted it to be a massacre. Well, 1 out of 2 can't be bad because this match wasn't short at all. It was actually 8 minutes and 30 seconds, which isn't a squash, which I actually thought this match should be, which is just a squash with John Gunther just pummeling Jimmy Uso from pillar to post and just easily handling him. And although we didn't win the match, although the match was 8 minutes and 30 seconds, around 8 minutes 30 seconds, it's not like it was a competitive match. Most of the match was just Gunther just beating the living shit out of Jimmy, and every time we thought he was gonna win the match, he would lift Jimmy up as in like, no, I'm not done. So it technically was a massacre. Not a squash, but it was definitely a massacre. To me, a squash match is any match that is less than 5 minutes. If it's less than 5 minutes, it's basically a squash at that point. Or maybe you could just label it as any match that's just under 4 minutes, because then that's definitely a squash at that point, if the match lasts barely 4 minutes. But yeah, this was a squash. This was a massacre. So that was great. Also, what happened after the match, again, what I said I wanted was also for Jimmy Uso to get the hell beat out of him by Gunther, with Jay being forced to watch. That is what happened. And so I'm like, yes, they finally are giving us the emotional investment that we need to be invested in this story emotionally. Now we actually want Jay to beat Gunther because Jay now has a reason to want to beat the shit out of Gunther, because he was zip-tied to the ropes and was forced to watch. At arm's length, he was forced to watch his brother Jimmy get beat up by Gunther. If that's now no reason for us to want to see Jay get some revenge, then I don't know what. But hey, it was great. It was needed. It was everything I knew it was going to be, everything I knew it had to be, and it was just great. It was great. And we got to see Jimmy Uso bleed. He was wearing a crimson mask. And it was just great. We get Finn Balor backstage. He is not exactly happy. He's not happy at all about what happened in his Intercontinental title match, with Dominic Mysterio basically getting involved and costing him the match. But they had some semblance, they had a chance to get some revenge, because they would have a tag team match today on this show against with Finn and Dom facing Penta and Braun Breaker. I'm guessing, I don't know why they felt the need to put this match, because this was just a random booked. I don't know why Braun and Penta were a tag team, but I guess at the end, but then when you saw Braun and Penta make their entrance, they sort of did had I think a fist bump. So I'm guessing what this was like. This was just a mutual respect. They have mutual respect for each other, and they just wanted to get some sort of revenge on the Judgment Day for beating them down the previous week. When also Penta refused to join the Judgment Day last week, and Dominic was the one who actually went to bat for him, like, dude, I wanted you in the group. But then Penta's like, well, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to join your group. And so I guess you could say that's a reason for why this match happened. It went about 10 minutes. The ending of the match, though, was interesting because they had Braun, because at one point it looked like Braun Breaker was going to spear whichever member of the Judgment Day was. I know it was Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio, but it was one of them was in position for a spear, but Penta was right behind him. Whether it was, I think it was Finn Balor. Finn Balor, I think, was the one who was in position for the spear. Hey, Jory Stay True Gaming. Hey, thanks for showing up. If any of you guys that are just now coming in, if there's anybody that's just now coming in who wants to hit that like button, feel free to do so. It's never required. As I've said a million times, it's never required, but I do appreciate it. Also, if any of you have the ability to share this live stream out to your own channel, feel free to do that as well. It's never required. Let's just hope I can get some more viewers in. I think we can get this to 5 likes. Maybe. After that, I don't even care how many extra likes we get, but 5 likes is always my goal for each live stream. I like to get at least 5. And then after that, it's up in the air as far as how many likes I get. Before the live stream ends, though, I'd like to get to 5 likes before the live stream ends. So this match, 10 minutes. Obviously, like I said, at the end of the match, saw Braun Breaker was going to hit a spear on Finn Balor. I'm pretty sure that was the guy that was in position. He sidestepped, moved out of the way. And Braun was at full speed, so he accidentally hit Penta with the spear. This allowed Finn Balor to hit the coup de grace on Penta for the 1, 2, 3, and that signaled Penta's first official loss in WWE since joining. Obviously, he didn't win the Royal Rumble match, but it's not like that was like a loss or any kind. He wasn't pinned. That was his first pinfall loss in WWE. That was incredible. He did lose that triple threat match a few weeks ago against Ludwig and Pete Dunne, but he wasn't pinned. So I'm guessing you could say technically that wasn't a loss. But his first pinfall loss in WWE. I mean, it's great. That was great. It was interesting. It was a good tag team match, but the ending definitely shocked me because I didn't think they were going to have Penta lose. He's been pushed kind of strong since his debut, so I was thinking they might have him win this tag team match with Braun, but I'm guessing they're setting this up to where now Penta is upset with Braun for what happened, although Braun will probably be the one to say, like, well, it's not entirely my fault because I was aiming for Finn, but Finn got out of the way, and then you just happened to be in the way, and I didn't want to hit you with the spear, but obviously they're potentially going in the direction of a fatal 4-way match maybe for the Intercontinental title, which is something that I wouldn't be mad at if they're doing that. like Braun, Penta, Finn, and Dominic, because like we were able to see later after this, we got Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan backstage. Liv Morgan told Dom that she was gonna go to Adam Pearce and try to get him an Intercontinental title match against Braun Breaker. So this will that's definitely putting fuel on the fire that I'm sort of thinking that they might be looking to do a fatal four-way at Mania. Penta's going to be mad at Braun for spearing him, for Braun spearing him, even though it was accidental, obviously. Finn Balor still apparently wants that title match. That title match. Dominic's now potentially going to get a shot at the title. So I think that's where they're going. It's a fatal four-way, which might not be bad if you think about it. We got Chad Gable. He's in Adam Pearce's office. He is excited about the new signing in El Grande Americano. Yeah, he's excited that the WWE has signed a new luchador who is technically him in a mask. Great. This is now a lot of people are saying that Grande Americano is racist, is a racist character, and that they're just making fun of Mexicans. Well, the only people that really aren't that upset about this are the people that are supposedly supposed to be upset about this. Mexicans. I have not seen one Hispanic or one Mexican or one Latino or whoever or I haven't seen any of those people upset. I've joined X. I joined X a while back. So far, I have not seen one Latino, Hispanic, or Mexican on X complain about this. Obviously, there's a bunch of people that are complaining, and they're not Mexicans. They're just the usual people who like to complain about everything in WWE that they see as racist, but really isn't. It's just funny, and it's not really. I mean, yes, I can see how some people might see it as being racist, but it's more comedy than anything else. Because we all know it's Chad Gable under that mask. I mean, Grande Americano in his match against Dragon Lee, he literally just hit. Most of his moves were just like Chad Gable's greatest hits, one after the other. So, and El Grande Americano will be in Minnesota next week. This upcoming Monday Night Raw will be from Minnesota, which is where Chad Gable is from, and El Grande Americano is supposed to be there live. So that's going to be interesting. Then we get a segment with AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Which was basically by the numbers. Good promo, good back and forth between the two on the mic. And now it has been made official. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That should be a good match, and I'm excited to see it. Sorry, guys, but I'm just having to sort of change the angle of the phone stand so you guys can see me just a little bit more. And so that's great. It's just great. We also get Lyra Valkyria backstage. She was very much grateful for the help that Bayley gave her last week when she was being attacked by Liv and Raquel. And so next week we are getting a Women's Intercontinental Championship match, that being Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley. So don't know if Liv and Raquel will get involved, but we do know that next Now on SmackDown, we did find out that next Friday Night SmackDown, we will have a number one contenders gauntlet match, which is a women's tag team gauntlet match, with the winner of that match getting a shot at the women's tag team titles, So who knows what's going to happen? Now, apparently, one of the teams in this match is going to be Lyra, Valkyria, and Bayley. I do not know why that's even happening, why they're even in this match. They're obviously not going to lose. Lyra, more than likely, is going to be defending her title at WrestleMania. But that should be good. And now the main event was obviously Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship with Bianca Belair as the special guest referee. Now, this match went exactly the exact way I knew how this match was going to go when the match was announced last week. When the match was announced last week and when Adam Pearce decided to put Bianca Belair in the match as a special guest referee, I knew immediately how the match was going to end. Because we saw this exact same thing happen last year in match 7 of the best of 7 series that Carmelo Hayes and Andrade had. It wasn't even their best match, and it should have been. And what's worse is that LA Knight got involved as a special guest referee because Nick Aldis was getting a little bit tired of LA Knight getting involved in Carmelo Hayes and Andrade's business backstage mostly. So he was like, I'm going to put you in the match as a special guest referee. I mean, he willingly accepted, but the ending of the match just saw it be like a double DQ, like a no contest. It ended up being a no contest because LA Knight just eventually decided that he wanted to make the match all about him. How about him putting both Andrade and Carmelo in their places? The match was not good, and it just fell flat. Although this time around, it finished basically the exact same way, but this match was way more entertaining. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky again was a great match, just like it was the Raw after Elimination Chamber. Lasted about 18 minutes, which is long for a women's match, also long for a match on SmackDown, on Raw, and SmackDown, or NXT for that matter. But hey, the match was great. Eventually, it ended in a double DQ finish when the first one to accidentally, or in Rhea's case, intentionally make contact with Bianca Belair. It was Rhea Ripley. Hers was clearly intentional because she eventually got a little tired of what she felt like was poor referee work by Bianca. When Io Sky hit Bianca, it was obviously an accident when it happened, but then the second time Rhea just decided to put her hands on Bianca, Bianca was like, okay, I'm done. You guys want to keep putting your hands on me? I'm just gonna call this match, and it ended up being a double DQ finish. It ended the match segment, and the show went off with Rhea Ripley KO'ing both Rhea and Io Sky, standing tall with the Women's World Championship. I doubt she wins because I feel like if she is involved with the Jade Cargill story, and if she was involved in the Jade Cargill accident injury angle alongside Naomi, then they're gonna eventually have her turn heel as well. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but I doubt Bianca wins at WrestleMania. Now, as far as the rating, I'll give it 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10 because it was really, really good. Opening segment was great. New Day versus New Catch Republic was great. Gunther versus Jimmy was good, was everything it needed to be, which meant it was perfect. Because it was everything I needed it to be, and that's exactly what they delivered. Everything else was good, okay. I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. Maybe 8, because it was that good. Now on to NXT. NXT, obviously, I was able to watch this. I'm able to watch NXT all the time now because it's on the CW network. For those who maybe don't want to watch it on Netflix, for those who can't watch it on Netflix or who just don't want to, then just go to your regular broadcast station, 21.1, which is the CW. Or if you want to, or if you can't watch NXT at all and you want to, then obviously the shows will be uploaded, will be made available via the CW app, which I do have because there are a lot of shows, a couple of shows that I like to watch that are on the CW app, and I can watch them without having to worry about watching them live. You know, if you know, you know. We got the opening segment saw Stephanie Becker was in the ring with the general manager, Ava. So Stephanie Becker, last week, Stephanie Becker defended both of her women's championships successfully, thus also becoming the first double champ to successfully defend both titles in the same night. Because apparently we had two other times that a double champ was pulling double duty. Obviously, I forgot because we had Seth Rollins at Night of Champions 2015, where Seth Rollins defended both the United States title and the World Heavyweight Championship, both in back-to-back matches, might I remind you. That was back-to-back matches. But he was unsuccessful in defending the Smack US title successfully, but he was able to beat Sting clean. Well, with some interference and some shenanigans, but he was able to beat Sting to retain the world title. Becky Lynch, Money in the Bank 2019. She defended both titles on the same night, SmackDown and Raw Women's Championship. She was not able to beat. She was able, I think the Raw Women's title was defended first. She beat Lacey Evans clean, but then when she was defending her SmackDown Women's title against Charlotte Flair, Lacey Evans got involved in that match, which allowed Charlotte Flair to win. Then we all know what happened after that. Bayley cashed in Money in the Bank and became champion. So, but last week, Stephanie was able to retain both titles successfully, so becoming the first person to do that. But this week, Stephanie had talked with Ava, and obviously Ava agreed that it was not fair to the women's division for both titles to be held down by one person. So as of now, Stephanie Becker is no longer a double champ. She relinquished her North American title, and it will be defended at Stand and Deliver in a 6-woman ladder match. Can't remember the exact number of women they said were going to be in this match, but it was however many women there are going to be. It's a ladder match. So that night they were going to be having qualifying matches. After this segment, though, we got Jada Parker and Jordynne Grace. Well, Jada Parker came out. Then Jordynne Grace came out and they started brawling. Jordynne Grace was in the ring and some of the referees were there trying to restrain her, but she picked up one of the referees and threw them over the top rope, onto a group of referees and Jada Parker. I was like, damn, girl, she threw that guy so far. Then after this, we got the first of our two qualifying matches of the night. This was for Stand and Deliver, the ladder match. First of them was Zarya versus Lash Legend. What I liked about this match and the match we would get later on in the night is because these two matches were not as predictable as I thought they were going to be. I could have seen either of these women, Zarya and Nash Legend, in that ladder match. Could have easily seen that. Now, maybe what they'll do is they might give us maybe a last chance sort of match where the losers of these qualifying matches all get a second chance to qualify for the money for this ladder match. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But this match lasted about 11 minutes, and it was a really good match, actually. Really good. Two powerhouses going at it. Zarya wins via the spear and then her finishing move, which I don't even know what the name of it is, but it was a finishing move. She won. Good job. After this match, we went back to the locker room, where obviously all the ladies were talking about the NXT North American title ladder match and this and that. Cora Jade and Lola Vice started getting into a war of words, and then they started brawling. Then after that, we go to commercial break. We come back. We got Kale Dixon and whoever the other guy is that's with him all the time now. They were with Andre Chase. They were in, I guess, the medical room, and they were wheelchairing him out. But then they overheard yelling and screaming, so they decided to go the other way. And apparently, it was Jada and Jordan Grace still brawling still brawling backstage. So that was intense. Then we go backstage. Roxanne Perez and Kelani Jordan are backstage. They are both wanting to talk to Ava about being in the North American title ladder match. Roxanne Perez wants to become the very first ever women's Triple Crown champion. To become the first woman in NXT history to hold all titles, to have held all the titles. But hey, it is what it is. So Ava decided that only one of them was going to be able to compete in the ladder match because they would have a qualifying match later on in the night. After this, we got Pretty Deadly backstage with Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. Obviously, Pretty Deadly was trying to instill their wisdom onto Hank and Tank. And I'm guessing that meant dressing them up in Pretty Deadly's usual attire, which obviously I didn't. As soon as I saw what Hank and Tank were wearing, I was like, no, get those things off of them. They look horrible on Hank and Tank. And thank goodness they actually did take off tops that they were wearing, which clearly were not them at all. They had a match. Obviously, they had a match up next against the No Quarter Catch Crew, Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. About 7 minutes, give or take, and this match ended with No Quarter Catch Crew actually winning in a good match, in a somewhat pretty decent match. So, hey, it is what it is. Hank and Tank are definitely on a bit of a losing streak, having lost the last 3 matches they've been a part of. So, it is what it is. They're trying to be more extreme, and they're trying to be more aggressive and more, I don't know what else to say, but it's whatever they're trying, it's just not working. After this, we got a segment with the D'Angelo family. They are, I'm guessing, at this restaurant or wherever they are, and they've now gathered intel. They were able to gather some intel on the members of Dark State. Interesting name for group, but it's actually a lot better than some of the other group names that I've heard over the years. But it is what it is. This was an effective segment. We got to know each of the members of Dark State a little bit. So at least now we know who they are, and um, and at least we know a little bit about each one of them as far as their backgrounds are concerned. After this, though, we did go backstage. Axiom and Nathan Frazier, they had a little bit of a talk with Hank and Tank. Then, after they left, Axiom and Nathan Frazier were then confronted by, I'm guessing, I can't even remember their names. The two guys' names, they were obviously young, in their 20s. They are a tag team that have been showcased on WWE Evolve as of late. At least I know the name of their tag team is Swipe Right. That's their tag team name, Swipe Right. And so at least I know that. But they've been on WWE Evolve, and they were in the crowd watching the Hank and Tank versus NQCC match. So I'm guessing, and they will have their first, and this team will have their first official, I guess you could say, WWE match next week on NXT. And I'm thinking it's against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. I don't know, but hey, should be a good experience for those two young guys. Maybe I'll wind up becoming fans. I do not know. But hey, it is what it is. After this, we got Oba Femi, and after this we got Roxanne Perez versus Kaylani Jordan, another qualifying match for Stand and Deliver's Women's North American title ladder match. About 11 minutes, very good match. Kaylani actually wins the match, which I did not think was going to happen, because she was already in the first ladder match to crown the first ever champion, and she won. But I don't think she's going to become a two-time champion this time around. I don't know if she's going to win the match at Stand and Deliver, but it will be a good match, hopefully. And so that was great. Then after this, we got Oba Femi. Well, we got Javon Evans and Trick Williams. Trick Williams came out. He had some words to say to Oba Femi, but Javon Evans came out. They started trading words back and forth. Then Javon Evans decided, I'm going to start making some sense here. And he started saying a few things that I was like, oh, shit. Javon Evans is making a whole lot of sense here. Because in this promo segment, Trick Williams would say two things that immediately caught my eye, and that is, I'm one of one. Also, I'm the A champ. The reason why those two phrases caught my eye was that for those who maybe don't know, Carmelo Hayes, who used to be Trick Williams' friend, those are Carmelo Hayes catchphrases. He has said those on so many occasions, too many occasions for me to count, that as soon as Trick said those words, I was like, those two catchphrases, I was like, is he trying to be Carmelo Hayes here? Because ever since when Carmelo Hayes lost the NXT title to Ilya Dragunov, he slowly it turned him heel eventually, but he just got a little upset. He got upset at his former friend Trick Williams, who what he saw was Trick stabbing him in the back by trying to make a name for himself. Like in Carmel's mind, Trick was just supposed to be the hype man and the best friend who didn't try to succeed and didn't try to eclipse Carmelo Hayes' success by being successful in his own right. But I was like, oh, this is getting good. And Oba came out. Obviously, he wasn't gonna just let them have all the fun. Then eventually, Dark State showed up. They took out Oba Femi, they took out Javon Evans, and then they eventually took out Trick Williams. Like, okay. But after this, we got So Luca backstage. She was with Zarya. They were celebrating Zarya's win. Kalani comes in and says says congrats to Zarya, but I'm going to be winning the ladder match at Stand and Deliver. Well, then So would say that it's going to be either me or Zarya who wins that ladder match. But then Zarya sort of gets up a little startled, like, oh, wait, what are you talking about? Then So makes it known that she's got herself a qualifying match next week. So don't know who it's going to be against, but I'm sure we'll find out by Tuesday who her opponent's going to be. Hopefully it's not. I actually am hoping that it's going to be an opponent that's not. I'm not going to be able to decide who's going to win or not, because if it's another unpredictable match, that's just going to make it better for me, because I won't know who's going to win. And that might just make it more fun. And then after this, we got Ava in her office. She's with Stevie Turner, obviously her officials, Stevie Turner and Robert Stone. She has decided, on the spot, she decided, because of what happened in the Ova Javon Drake segment, there's gonna be a 6-man tag team match next week. 3 members of Dark State versus the main event of Stand and Deliver, and also in this segment, in the Ova Trick Javon segment, Ava made it clear that this was going to be a triple threat match between all 3 of them at Stand and Deliver for the NXT title. That should be a good match. Should be a great match. And we all know last year, Ova Femi had literally the best match of the entire year, and it was a triple threat match. It was voted as the NXT match of the year. The year-end awards saw that match be crowned the match of the year, which is clearly what it needed to be. It was everything you would have wanted in a big man hoss fight. Just 3 of the biggest men in NXT at that time just going at it, and I loved it. Then you got the main event. Ricky Starks, not saying Saints, versus Shawn Spears for the NXT North American title. I did not know if they were going to crown Ricky the champion this soon after debuting, but apparently that's what happened. We got the match, about 12 minutes, and Ricky is your new NXT North American champion. So Shawn Spears was just a transitional champion, and I'm just putting it out there that I'm getting the feeling that they wanted Ricky Starks to be the champion, but they did not want Ricky Starks to pin Tony D'Angelo. So they had Shawn Spears, who was credible enough to be a champion, to be an NXT North American champion. They had him beat Tony, and then have Ricky Starks beat Shawn Spears, who it doesn't even matter if Shawn Spears doesn't. Oh, okay, Maroni. We'll see you later. But that's it. NXT was really good this week. Some great matches. The women's matches, 2 women's qualifier matches were really good. The main event was really good. The Javon Trick Ova segment was really good. The Angela family segment was actually kind of good too. So I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. So far, we're doing pretty good. Then AEW Dynamite. Oh, AEW Dynamite was was a bit of a letdown from at least the last two AEW Dynamites, which have been somewhat good, but this one was somewhat not good. We got the opening, saw Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir take on Swerve Strickland and Willow Nightingale in a mixed tag team match. Within about 11 minutes, this was very good opening. Swerve and Willow would eventually win this match, but after the match, Jon Moxley, I'm guessing Jon Moxley was just pissed off at the fact that his team had lost the match, so he decided to DDT Willow to the mat. So I'm like, oh, great. Okay, Mox, you're pissed off that you lost? Well, okay, well, you didn't have to do that. Just because you wanted to win the match doesn't mean you gotta take your aggression out on Willow. Could have had Marina do that. Or you could have gone after Swerve. Well, which he eventually got the chance to do later on in the show, at the end of the show. But this was actually a pretty decent a really good match. But after this is where it just went all downhill. Mostly. There were some bright spots. We got apparently Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. They are kind of on the mend at the moment because they apparently had an altercation on Collision last Saturday when he faced, I think it was Dax Harwood faced Wheeler Yuta in a match. This is leading up to the trios title match that their rated FTR are going to be having with Pac, Yuta, and Claudio Castagnoli. This match will be at Dynasty, which is tomorrow. AEW Dynasty is tomorrow. The matches announced should be really good. It's just that they've got a couple of matches that I think shouldn't be on the show and should just be on television maybe, or at the very least for the buy-in, like the pre-show. Like we got Chris Jericho versus Bandito for the Ring of Honor World Title in a title versus mask match. Obviously, I don't think they're going to have Bandito in mask, so I'm guessing he's going to win the title. But have that be on the pre-show because I don't know, because I'm not sure if that's a match that they're going to have on the main show or the pre-show. I don't even know. But that match should definitely be on the pre-show. Because there's no way Ring of Honor matches should be done on the main show of a show that's basically for AEW. But yeah, it is what it is. This should be a good match. Should be a good match between the Rated FTR and Death Riders. I don't know who wins. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Toni Storm, she goes one-on-one with Penelope Ford, leading up to her match at Dynasty, which will be against Megan Bayne. Don't know her too much, but from what I have seen from her work in AEW so far, it's been good. So, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. She's been good in AEW since showing up. Now, apparently this is not her first time in AEW, but I don't really remember her first run either. Mainly because I didn't really watch AEW at least until 2021. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. This match went about 6 minutes. Toni Storm wins, not before Megan Bayne comes in to basically lay out Toni Storm prior to their match. And so this will probably, obviously, booking 101, obviously professional wrestling booking 101. Heel gets momentum before a big match at a pay-per-view. usually means that the babyface is winning. So obviously, I think Tony Storm is winning this match for sure. We also got a segment involving the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. This was an interesting choice. This was an interesting segment because apparently Bobby Lashley just does not like MJF. Neither do I, but at least I'm not gonna say it out loud to MJF's face. As if I ever got a chance to. That is, if I was ever able to get in his face, I wouldn't say it. I would at least say, "I respect you," and that's it. And just walk away after that. But yeah, I don't even know if MJF's joining the Hurt Syndicate. Apparently, they were still talking about it. They still were talking about it backstage at one point. One point, like MVP's like, "Look, I know he's a little rough around the edges. I know what MJF is, but that's the reason. But what he is what I like about him. And I think that's why we need him, because we need someone like him in the group." Well, I'm surprised that Tony Khan hasn't brought in Cedric Alexander yet, because that would be the most obvious choice to bring in for the Hurt Syndicate. Just have him rejoin up with Bobby, said Shelton, and MVP in the Hurt Syndicate in AEW. That would be the perfect person to bring in my eyes, to the Hurt Syndicate, but who knows if that's what their actual plans are. We got another match. Will Ospreay tag teaming with a new superstar in Kevin Knight. I don't know who he is. But apparently he's getting a shot in the Owen Hart tournament this year against Will Ospreay, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that match will take place at Dynasty. Don't know why that match is being taken place at Dynasty. That should just be that match should just be on Dynamite. But Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight took on Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. Just a random ass tag team match. Went about 7 minutes. It was okay, but that's all that it was. It was okay. Babyfaces won. Will and Kevin won. Great. It is what it is. Just a match to be there, a match just to have a match. Didn't mean anything, didn't do anything for me. It's just there. At one point, also during the show, we also got Hangman and Swerve were backstage. Got into some heated words backstage. Hangman still, even to this day, Hangman has still not forgotten and forgiven Swerve for what he did invading his house. He's still on that. You invaded my house. Well, then Swerve was like, "You burned my house down." Then Hangman's like, "Oh, you deserved it." But then Swerve said something that surprised, I'm sure, everybody, and it was like, "Yeah, I know." Which then surprised Hangman, because he would have thought Swerve wouldn't have said something like that. Like, "Yeah, I know I deserved it." Maybe Swerve is like, okay, he's owned, at least now he's thinking, I guess Swerve is finally owning up that he was wrong to invade Hangman's house. He was maybe wrong to do all the things that he did to Hangman during their blood feud. We then get another match, Brody King versus Lance Archer. Great, this is a good old-fashioned meat fight with two big men, giants, just slapping it out, smacking it out, whatever it is. They're just having it out. About 6 minutes, Brody King, Lance Archer actually won the match, which is surprising. But it is what it is. It was a good match. It was a good match, actually, but it was just like, why did it need to be on the show? Also, we got Mercedes Monet. She will be in tag team action this Saturday on Collision, but apparently Collision was taped right after Dynamite. I'm guessing simply because Dynasty is this weekend and is tomorrow, and they just didn't want the wrestlers to be some of their top wrestlers that are going to be on the card. They just don't want those guys to be gassed before Dynasty even happens. So she would have a tag team match on Collision against Julia Hart and somebody else. I can't remember what the name is, but she will. But her tag team partner turned out to be for this match will turn out to be Harley Cameron, which she did not seem very happy about at all. And then we got the main event: Adam Copeland versus Claudio Castagnoli. Good match. Lasted around 14 minutes or so. Good match. Just why did it need to be there? And then I forgot about the fact that Rated FTR is going up against Death Riders for the trios titles, so kind of makes sense. Although it's not their main storyline going forward, so why? Adam Copeland, I mean, he won the match, which I don't think he needed to, but I'm guessing that's a foreshadowing that the Death Riders are going to retain their titles at Dynasty. The end of the show saw the Death Riders just attack Swerve Strickland. And they used real glass, people. Real glass. Yeah. Yeah, they used real glass. And that's how the show ended with Death Riders looking tall over Swerve, which I'm guessing is gonna have Swerve Strickland win at Dynasty, which needs to happen. As much as I love the Death Riders, Swerve needs to win at Dynasty. Then we got Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown saw CM Punk open the show. They were in Chicago, so I'm guessing this was WWE's way of maybe testing to see if the U.S. crowds were just as rabid as the international crowds. And yes, Chicago will definitely be a rabid crowd every single time they come there, especially if CM Punk's in the building. And yeah, when CM Punk came out there, the crowd lost their minds. They went nuts for him, as they will every single time. But then go to the next city you have planned to go to. But then go into the city that SmackDown's supposed to be next week. And guess what? You'll probably get a mid crowd that isn't invested in most of what you're putting out there. So I get WWE's probably trying to see if the U.S. crowds are still as hot as the international crowds were, but it's Chicago. It's always going to be, they're always going to be a hot crowd, no matter what you put out there. Unless it totally stinks, then definitely they will let you know. And they obviously let Charlotte know that she stunk. Oh, that was... yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. CM Punk talked his usual talk. Is what it is. Paul Heyman then interrupts. Eventually, he gets to asking CM Punk, "What's the favor? Can you tell me what the favor is that you owe me, that I owe you? Because I don't know, and I feel like I need to know by now. We need to know by now." Now, he said that he wanted the favor to be announced when both he and Roman Reigns are in the same ring together with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman told CM Punk that Roman Reigns was going to be there, but that he was not going to be there at least until later on in the show. So that's how that ended. Then we get a match which is the debut of Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix has now officially debuted, and he faced off against NXT superstar Nathan Frazier. At first, I thought this was supposed to be Andrade that he was supposed to have that match with his debut against, but apparently they may have decided to pivot and go with Nathan Frazier. Just as good of a wrestler to have our first match with if you're Ray Phoenix, and it was a great match. Some bumps here and there, some hiccups here and there, but all in all, great match, and it was everything I expected it to be. Ray Phoenix wins, as I knew he would. Obviously, it won't mean much for Nathan Frazier unless it will play into the storyline that they're doing on NXT, where Fraxium just don't seem to quite be on the same page as of late. I don't know. Match lasted about 10 minutes, 30 seconds. Ray Phoenix won via the Mexican Muscle Buster. So, hey, it is what it is. Great match. After this, we had Legado was backstage. They were, I guess, watching the match. Humberto was not exactly pleased, was not exactly impressed, and he said that he wants a match against Ray Phoenix. I don't know when that match is going to happen, but that match could happen as early as next week. Who knows? But that should be a good match when it happens, because Humberto is great. And I'm not calling him by his abbreviated name, Berto. I just don't know why they're just not letting them use their real names, but it is what it is. We then got the Bloodline backstage. Jacob Fatu is going to have a match against Braun Strowman in a last man standing match. LA Knight and Braun Strowman would interrupt Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga talking to each other. LA Knight then decided to challenge Tama Tonga to a match tonight, which he accepted, and that match took place next about 8 minutes, and Tama Tonga and LA Knight won, which I knew was going to happen. But it was a good match. Nothing special, but it was just good. Then after this match, we get Seth Rollins is backstage, and he's talking with Paul Heyman, and he's sort of they're sort of discussing the favor now that CM Punk has, and well, the secret is now the favor. This is the most we've ever gotten. We've ever had the favor mentioned on television, and we were finally able to get at least some semblance of what the favor is by the end of the night, even though people are saying that the favor was to have Paul Heyman in CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania. Well, that's not the full. That may be part of the favor, but it's not the actual full favor. That may just be part of it. That's what I'm thinking. So then we get two promo video packages from Drew McIntyre and Jamie Priest. They're going one-on-one at WrestleMania, or at least they should be. They should. And it's they pretty much should just make it official by now. It was good. We also got another video package, a little vignette for Aleister Black, who is apparently re-debuting with WWE. That should be good. I'm hoping that Aleister Black is given the push that he deserves, like he was given in NXT when Triple H apparently loved him in NXT. So I'm hoping he gets a push upon re-debuting. We get Pretty Deadly backstage with Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. They were obviously, I'm guessing they're gonna have a match maybe next week. Just leading to a match maybe next week. We get B-Fab versus Naomi. Now this was a squash match. Lasted exactly 2 minutes, actually. Lasted exactly 2 minutes. Before the match, Jade Cargill attacked Naomi. She was led away by security. Then after the match, Naomi called out Jade. Jade was literally right there waiting for her to turn around, so she hit her with a big boot. Then got her up for the Jaded, although security came out to again separate the two women. Then Nick Aldis came out to say like, okay, I'm getting kind of tired of this, and it's obvious that these attacks are not going to stop until something is done about it. So he decided, you know what? I have a solution. Naomi versus Jade, WrestleMania. It's official. Great. This should be a good match. The first women's match, I think, in WrestleMania in a long time where a title is not on the line. The first women's, I think, one-on-one match. I think it's the first women's one-on-one match at WrestleMania where there's not a title on the line, or at least the first one in a long time. But hey, it should be good. It should be a decent match. We also got DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. This was apparently a #1 contenders match for the titles, for the SmackDown, for the WWE Tag Team titles. And DIY win despite Motor City Machine Guns won despite DIY getting in some heel work during the match. At times during the match, Motor City Machine Guns were able to win, and so that's great. Also, we got Kevin Owens. We got the Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu, last man standing match. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Car crash in a million. Great match. Jacob Fatu wins. This was also a #1 contenders match for the US title. So Braun Strowman wins. Jacob Fatu wins. He will now be have a match against LA Knight for the US title, potentially at WrestleMania. I don't know if it's going to be for WrestleMania, but it should be. We also got Kevin Owens. He was out there, and there was speculation that Kevin Owens might be injured, and that his match with Randy Orton would be in jeopardy. Now, apparently Kevin Owens is injured. He needs neck surgery, and he will be out for several months. I am devastated because that was a match that I wanted to see at WrestleMania, mainly because I just wanted to see Randy Orton actually punt Kevin Owens' head off. So that's going to be devastating. And obviously, Nick Aldis had to break the news to Randy Orton, which obviously didn't sit well with Randy Orton. And interestingly enough, and he decided to RKO Nick Aldis, which was interesting because the last time that happened, he paid his fine, but apparently he had paid double what he was originally supposed to pay Nick Aldis. And so when Nick Aldis told him, it looks like you paid me twice. You paid me double. Yeah, that's for next time. And I'm guessing this was next time. So hopefully he won't have to pay another fine because he already paid for it the last time he had to pay a fine. So he basically paid for 2 RKOs. What Randy does at WrestleMania now, I do not know. We also got Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair one-on-one in a promo segment. This was car crash in a million times a million. Like Charlotte Flair, she was okay within the first few minutes, but then once the crowd started booing her like crazy, started booing her out of the building, she obviously got very tense. Like she did not, almost as if she didn't expect the crowd to boo her that much or to boo at all. But she clearly got flustered. And Tiffany Stratton, boy, did she get in some personal shots at the end. Like when she even made mention that when Charlotte was 25, all she was doing was drinking out of her daddy's basement. And then also decided to poke a little bit of fun at Charlotte's recent divorce from Andrade by saying by the time WrestleMania ends, you'll be in this ring the same that you are outside of the ring, alone. Oh, and how is that record? Oh, 0-3? Woo! Tiffany immediately left the ring and up the ramp, but as she was leaving, Charlotte Flair decided to throw some shade as well, like, oh, is that why Kaiser's in my DMs? Like, dude, like Charlotte, no. No, no, no. Tiffany Stratton cooked Charlotte Flair on that night, last night. And that last line about Kaiser was an obvious, desperate attempt by Charlotte Flair to win the argument, which had already been won by Tiffany. And she was just, and she only showed herself, and she showed her true colors there, and that she is desperate. She is desperate to win at all costs, even if it means getting in a cheap shot at Tiffany's expense, which Tiffany didn't even acknowledge. She just walked on off as if Charlotte Flair had not said another word, which obviously made it clear that that was a desperate attempt by Charlotte Flair to try and win the argument, which it did not do. And I will say it, I will continue to say it until the match actually happens. Tiffany Stratton must beat Charlotte Flair. I am sorry, but I will not accept it if Charlotte Flair wins. The crowd won't accept it. She'll have the most go-away heat that I think she's ever had in her entire career if she wins at WrestleMania. You are trying to build Tiffany Stratton as a star, and you are not going to do that, and you're not going to be able to do that if you have Charlotte Flair, the biggest, as Tiffany called her, Nepo baby, come in and just ruin Stratton's push simply because Charlotte Flair feels like she is the only person that should ever be in the spotlight. She can't stand it when someone else is getting attention other than her. So, yeah, Tiffany Stratton must win. Then we get the main event segments. Roman Reigns is out there with Paul Heyman. He wants to know what the favor is from Punk as well. Seth Rollins then decides to interrupt instead. They go at it back and forth. Then Punk comes back out for a second time. Apparently, the favor is for Paul Heyman to be in his corner come WrestleMania 41 in the main event. Now, Roman tried to get Paul Heyman to tell CM Punk, no, I can't do that. But Paul Heyman eventually was like, no, my tribal chief, I can't do that. I can't tell Punk no. Like, he teared up. Those were real tears. I'm pretty sure those were real tears. So, that's how that segment ended with Punk getting a GTS on Roman Reigns. That was great. This episode of Friday Night SmackDown may have been the best Friday Night SmackDown on the road to WrestleMania yet. We had great opening segment, great main event segment. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, even though it went off the rails quickly, it was still actually kind of enjoyable just to see Tiffany Stratton actually cook Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair just coming unraveled as she's just trying to process the fact that the crowd is booing her like crazy and just trying to, I don't know, but that was good. Some of the other matches were good. Obviously, the last man standing match was great. Penta match was great. I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. And that's it. That's it, guys. I will see you guys next week. It's now April. Hopefully, I will be doing a movie review video sometime soon. You guys will see it. Hopefully, you guys will see it soon. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace. Bye, guys.